Hey, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so today's video, I want to actually talk quite in depth about the Apple AirPods Pro. They've not long been out, and I'm sure a lot of you have got a lot of unanswered questions with them. I've been using them now for 2 weeks. I went on holiday with them and got a few issues with them, to be totally honest with you. If you're debating this as a Christmas present or a present for yourself, or even just something you want to buy, you definitely want to hear the following. Anyway, stay tuned. Okay, so today I feel the need to do a video on brand new Apple AirPods Pro. I've been using them now for around 2 weeks. I didn't really buy into the original AirPods as I didn't really like the idea of them. Obviously I do quite a bit of training and stuff, and I thought realistically the old ones, they're probably going to fall out. I never invested anyway. I tried them, I heard the quality of them, they were good. Anyway, these came out, they were boasting quite a lot of things. The battery life looked really good. Yeah, and they just looked like they would fit me pretty well. Okay, so the AirPods themselves, they're really tidy, neat little things, and they've been designed incredibly well. Upon first inspection, when I first got them, I was really excited. Originally, the first AirPods, when they came out, I wasn't an investor. I did not buy them. I had no interest in them, to be totally honest with you. I do a lot of training, so obviously over time I've learned that certain earphones work, some don't for me. The ones in particular which I do find to work really well are the ones with the earbuds inside that basically retain the headphone inside of your ear. As the original AirPods didn't have them, I didn't really see it would work for me. One of the things I really liked about the AirPod Pros were the fact that they're just neatly tucked away in this little tiny box, which also charges it. I mean, it's phenomenal. When you open them for the first time, you'll notice that your phone will recognize it. So there's my phone. When I open this, it pops up. And it'll come up with the battery display on each. So it'll show you the battery of the case, and the battery at that moment is 100% on both AirPods Pros. Let me get that one right. Then you can open that up. Let me try and show you this. So as you take each one out, it then will separate and it will recognize the fact that both have been taken out. And it'll show you the battery on each. So it'll show you this one maybe, let's say it's 50%, that one maybe 58%. Strangely, they don't go down at the same time. You would expect that one will be 50% and the other will be 50%, but it's not like that. So when you're looking at the actual earpieces themselves, you can see there's quite a lot going on with them. So you can see here that this is kind of where you put it in your ear. And you've got speakers here, or at least there's something here. And this here is where it recognizes, as I was mentioning before, this is where it recognizes if it's in your ear or not. This one is the left-hand earpiece. We'll touch on this later on. But this here, later on I do touch on the fact that there's an issue with this one in particular. And it recognizes that it's not in my ear when it actually is. So yeah, something to check, but obviously you haven't got anything covering this, because obviously if it's something covering it, it's not going to recognize if it's in your ear or not. But I have checked that and it's not the case for me. The button on the actual earpiece is right here. You can't really see it, and to be honest, I didn't even notice it when I first got it. This is how you play, pause, and go into transparency or noise cancelling mode. So pressing it once will play music, pressing it once more will pause the music, holding it and letting go will then take it from either transparency or noise cancelling mode depending on obviously what you were in to start with. So that's kind of how you use them. They're dead easy. I mean, you can tap it 3 times, you can go back a song, tap it twice, it'll go forward 1 song. And then buttons are actually on both. I'll pull this one out as well so you can see. They are quite, the magnets inside of this, which obviously help to pop it back in, are pretty strong. So when you're trying to pull it out, you will notice that there is a bit of pullback with that. But yeah, as you can see, this is the left one. There's that button I was telling you about. And if I can get that out, this is the right one. There's also a button on that one. So you're not having to reach for one ear at each time to actually get the button. They're on both, which I find is really helpful. And another helpful thing, you've actually got it wrote on which ear it's for. And that just pops back in there, and that pops back in there. Close that up. The case itself holds the charge. The earphones obviously hold their own charge. And basically, once you've been using the earphones for a certain amount of time, you can then just pop them straight back in here and they'll charge. I mean, around 10 minutes of charge in this case will give you around about an hour's worth of usage. So if you're worried about going on a long flight, which was one of the things I was concerned about, I don't think it's really an issue, because realistically, you're going to get a hell of a lot of time out of these. So I don't think the battery life for me was a real issue. One of the things with the AirPods Pros, which I wasn't too fond of, was the fact that I kept having to rearrange them in my ear quite a lot. My ears started to get a little bit, not sore, but I could feel the ache inside my ear canal, which it was quite annoying. Obviously I was on a beach, I was laying relaxing, so there was no reason that they should have been moving around or anything. But I did feel that I had to keep rearranging them. A little bit annoying. Obviously you've just spent £250 on these headphones. It's not really something I've come across before with other similar headphones. I've never had that kind of earache from it. I'm quite fond of the over-ear Bose QC2's 35. I think they're phenomenal, but they're a different type of headphone. This is an in-ear noise cancelling headphone. Are you going to get that ache from them in your ears? Probably. Well, I definitely did, so I don't know if you would or not. Maybe I need to jump down to the smaller size on the earbuds, but as they stand, as they are, I felt after a while, and maybe, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours worth of wearing them, they become quite uncomfortable, and you kind of had to pull them out for a little bit of respite. They stayed in there. There was no issues with that. They didn't fall out. There was no picking them up off the floor or off the bed thinking, all right, I better put them back in. There was none of that. They were fine, they really were. It was just that little bit of earache. One of the biggest issues I found with these while I was wearing them, using them, was the fact that the left-hand ear was constantly cutting out. And I don't know whether that's a software thing or a hardware issue, but one thing is for sure, the left-hand ear was not working correctly. In a normal operation, I suppose me in the gym or going for a run, at the most part it would work, but it would get to the point where it would cut out, as if you've took it out of your ear. One thing with the AirPods Pros, which was quite cool, when you put them in your ear, you can tell that they know when they're in your ear. So they obviously have sensors inside of each headphone that react when you put them in your ear canal. The left-hand ear, it was as if that sensor was faulty and it felt or thought it was being removed from my ear quite often when it wasn't. There was no water in there, there was nothing, but there was one thing for sure, it was not working correctly. Quite annoying, especially when you've just spent £250 on them. It wasn't something I was expecting, to be honest with you. I thought they may not do the noise cancellation correctly, or they may not be that comfortable, but everything else was fine. apart from obviously what we've covered already. But one thing is for sure, make sure you use them and test them, because if they're faulty, you're going to want to send them back. Myself, these ones are going back. I've already spoke with Apple regarding that, and they're going to replace them. They're pretty good like that. But one thing is for sure, you need to check it. For me, it was the left-hand ear. The right-hand ear did not do it once. Maybe it is just a dodgy part. Maybe I was just unlucky. If anything like that happens to you or has happened to you and you've been wearing them, comment below, let other people know. All I can really tell you is what's happened with me. They're good. Hey, I mean, I've got them and I'm going to keep them. The new pair, not the faulty pair. Yeah, I think they're a good investment. 250 quid for a pair of earphones that are going to last you. I think it's a no-brainer. The noise cancellation on them is phenomenal. Just wearing them normally, brilliant. The passive mode, awesome. Genuinely, these headphones, get yourself out there, get them bought. You will not regret it, I promise you. Worst case scenario, you don't like them, send them back. But make sure that you check them, make sure that they're working and they're not faulty. I would hate for you to spend all that money and have a faulty pair of headphones. Any questions, comment below, and thanks for watching. Bye.